Good afternoon. I have a prepared statement that I would like to read prior to any more live streams that we do here on NonSequitur. So please give me your ear and indulge me for just 1 second. Dear NonSequitur audience, it is with great sorrow and sadness that I sit before you today, a man who was wrong. You know, it's a difficult thing to admit when you're wrong. It doesn't feel good. It's embarrassing. And there's a lot of shame that goes with that. I hold myself responsible for the countless viewers that have suffered at the hands of my poor decision. I reflect on it now and I regret what I did, and the guilt is somewhat unbearable. I apologize for any inconvenience that it has caused. It's a hard thing to admit, but I want to stand here before you today and admit publicly, before all, that I, Kyle Curtis, am fully admitting that I was wrong for thinking that Jeranism knew what the fuck sarcasm was. The cool thing about conspiracies is that it affords people uh, the opportunity to seem like you're the smartest person in the room. It's cool, it's edgy, it's the new thing, it's something outside the norm. You're saying fuck you to the man, standing back, pushing back. You're not going to take it. You're not the 1%. You're fighting for the right things. There's a noble cause. You're right. You're justified. Everyone's against you. Everyone's out to torment you, lie to you, constantly prove you wrong at every turn. You're the ones that are persecuted. This is the thing, and this is the type of mentality that is aggravating in a lot of cases to push back against. Is it because you feel persecuted? It takes a certain level of willful ignorance to believe that everybody, from the Greeks of the 3rd century BC all the way into the era of the Hubble telescope, the International Space Station, and the Hadron Collider, they're all fake. All of it. None of it was true. It was all some whimsical lie for a more devious and mischievous reason. Is it the persecution complex? I'm honestly trying to understand. I'm sure that collectively you're often mystified as to why words like flattard, dumbass would ever be attached to this movement that appears to be speed walking human understanding back to medieval times. This conspiracy would require tens of thousands, if not millions, of people to be behind. It would require all of them to remain silent, to never speak of it, to never threaten to leak this, little things here, bigger things here. Meanwhile, in the real world, we have things like the president of the United States possibly having a P tape out there. Everything leaks. Why is this the one exception? Why is this the one thing that you're unmovable about? It can't be that the earth is really round. All of these millions of people have to be lying. All of these governments have to be lying. Jeranism said in his video that one thing he hates is a liar. So I have to call him out first on that one point. Because if he wants to find the biggest liar in this entire drama, I guess you'd say, the best place for him to look would be in the fucking mirror. Here you have a guy who, for the past 3 years, has stood in front of a camera or in front of a microphone and, in my opinion, willfully pushed a narrative. He knows his faults. In the raping of Jeranism Friday night, he admitted to Reds he has no model and that Red's model was better. Now, this is the same guy who will get on a microphone after that and tell you that you're being lied to. Well, he's right. You are being lied to. But not by the people he's telling you that you're being lied to. You're being lied to by him. How can you say with any kind of confidence or any kind of intellectual honesty that the earth is not round when you have nothing on your side? Admittingly, you're not even trying to come up with a model. You admit right off the gate you have none. It's amazing that he wants to try to point the finger in a conversation about a moon landing at me, that I'm the biggest liar out of all of these, all of the characters in this story. I think it's funny. I think it's fucking hilarious. I nearly pissed myself watching that video. That's how seriously I take it. Here I have a guy who believes that the earth is a pancake with an ice wall around it. Now, I am guessing because remember, he doesn't have a model. So this is what he thinks, that it's a flat plane. Can't account for any of the things like gravity, can't account for southern stars, um, any of that. And he's telling me that I'm the biggest liar. Well, that has about the same amount of pull as a toaster telling me that um, I'm the biggest liar. Equal footing with me. Means nothing. And all it does is put the attention on us, which in some way, shape, or form, I think takes it away from him. So that's a good thing in the long run. Now, I'm not, let me find my place. I suspect most flat earthers are really just a bunch of people who think that the government is dishonest, lies to cover up at times, and on occasion operates in deceit. This is a edgy movement, a resistance movement, much like Occupy Wall Street. It's a way for you to feel like you are pushing back against the man. And in many cases, I understand that wholeheartedly. The thing is, though, you can't, in light of actual evidence, actual science, actual math, just throw your arms up in the air and say, well, I don't believe it. We're being lied to. You're a shill. You've been indoctrinated. You've been brainwashed. You don't understand. We have done flat earth debates, hangouts on this channel since January. I have yet to hear anything close to a compelling case in any of the arguments made by anyone. And the thing about the flat earth movement is that it's all over the place. We've had flat earthers on here that believe that in the beginning there were three suns that combined into one. Um, the theory of down was introduced, not gravity. It's just things are heavier than air, so they fall down. Some believe in an ice wall, some don't. Some believe that the flat earth is on a pedestal in the sky, that the firmament is just like a tent pitched over the heavens, that the waters above is what is above the firmament. You're not even on the same page on that. So I thought it was necessary to address this video because there have been several comments and it's going around. I think that's great. Like I said, it gives us a little spotlight for a little bit. But I want you to know that you can leave all of the comments that you'd like, dislike this video all that you like. Come and leave me nothing but you're a liar, Kyle. You have been exposed. You're a shill comments. I eat that shit for breakfast. Bring it on. I'll pin the funniest ones to the top of the comments. Absolutely. In fact, I welcome your comments. All it does is push that engagement rate up, 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 and up. So I would just like to say in conclusion that the conversation that Jeranism and I had is going to be on your screen in just a second. What I said in that conversation, if anybody knows me, would instantly know it is sarcasm. Now, I tried to illustrate that with the emoji, and that's also, by the way, been called into question. I got the thing to its side earlier saying that the levels of the Photoshop in the conversation indicates that it was tampered with. I'll leave that there for you guys to take that for however you'd like to. But my question would be this. Let's say that I don't believe we went to the moon, just for shits and giggles. Of all the people that I could confide in, that I would want to talk about this with, that I would want to try to strike up a conversation with, tell me why the one person I go to would be Jeranism, which we don't agree on a lot of things. Some things we do. We've had nice conversations before. But why would I go to Jeranism? And where are the other people that I've told that we didn't go to the moon? Why is he the only one? Does it benefit him that I make it sound like I believe we went to the moon or not? Think about these things critically. I know that's asking a lot, but just think about the motive behind this entire story and look at the pieces of evidence before you. I have never one to hide my beliefs for fear that people will think I'm crazy. Many of you know that I believe that there was an ancient civilization that existed before and that the Sphinx is older than they tell us it is. I've caught all kind of shit for that. I don't give a fuck about people's opinion of me. So to think that I'm not admitting that we went to the moon because I think the repercussions of that would be too severe, or I couldn't take the shit talking, is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. And if you're going to make an argument, at least make a better one than that. Because I'm already out there a little bit in the conspiracy world. And again, I eat that shit for breakfast too. So in conclusion, Jeranism. You're a lying cunt. Nothing you say is honest. The I'm a good guy routine is fucking old and lame. And after Friday, no one really gives a fuck about your opinion anyway. Steve?
That was excellent, Kyle. And to touch on that before I read my speech off, I want to piggyback on that. Has he met us? I am the owner of the Great Debate community on G+. I've been doing this for years. Controversy is abound everywhere in the Great Debate. That's what they do. They talk about things. They discuss things. People have differing opinions, vastly different opinions. Controversy is nothing new to us. If we hold up an opinion, we'll give you our opinion. You ask us what we think, we will tell you. No holds barred sometimes. Matter of fact, a lot of people have complained, maybe we're too frank. A lot of people have said maybe we're too direct. That might be true. But we will tell you what we actually think. We don't need you to tell us what we think.
We have no chill.
None. Yeah, none whatsoever. So I think that's one thing that makes us very strong in this community is the fact that we have strong opinions. We love people with strong opinions, and we're able to talk about strong opinions. But when it comes to certain things like the age of the earth and the shape of the earth, sorry, your opinion don't matter at that point because your opinion means shit. Science has already determined these facts. They are facts. If you think you can disprove them, be my guest. But until then, they are facts, and your opinions or your fifis on it don't fucking matter. Okay. But I have a speech prepared that Kyle had asked me to do. So allow me about 5 minutes here to run through this, if you will. Anyways. So Jeranism is in full damage control mode because he had one of the worst all-time performances in the history of flat earth discussions. Jeranism is trying to save face by diverting the topic from his abysmal failure to a conversation he had had with Kyle about the moon landing. Now, I used to think Jeranism was just stupid, but I'm certainly convinced now he is not just stupid, but is deceptive as fuck. He says I'm closed-minded, but I and others have given him ample opportunities to present a model to change our minds. And he has failed every time, at every level. The shape of the earth has been known to anyone who even has a 5th grade education or higher and is settled science. Science doesn't need to waste time educating dumb fucks like Ken Hovind about the age of the earth, nor the shape of the earth to Jeranism. Jeranism doesn't know shit about science. Hell, he didn't even know basic maths, and yet he feels he is qualified to tell other people how science is done. He didn't even understand the concept of pi and doesn't have the most basic skill sets that is required to properly evaluate evidence. Concepts that any first year physics student would know are utterly lost upon Jeranism, and in fact, to all flat earthers. Jeranism brings up things like a teaspoon of a neutron star weighing billions of pounds. But ask him what electron degenerative pressure is and watch his eyes glaze over like the dead hookers in his basement. And he has absolutely no idea what any of those words even mean. His ignorance of science is remarkable, but for some reason he feels compelled to tell others what he thinks actual science is and what it is not. But why can't he then demonstrate his claims of the flat earth? Where are his math and his physics formulas to disprove the round earth? Oh, wait, he doesn't have any because just like his model and colors, they don't exist. Here we have a person displaying private conversations in order to promote their agenda. That is not an honest person. But in regards to our Skype conversation, I got timed out multiple times by his mods during one of his chats because I was asking them for a model. They didn't wish to be challenged on this and thus timed me out. Even Jaren himself admits flat earthers do not have one. So I go to Jeranism on Skype asking for a wrench to prevent being timed out. And he tells me he'll give me a wrench if I can show Kyle does not believe that we went to the moon. Now, I know Kyle never told him in seriousness that we went to the moon. Kyle sent me a screenshot of their conversation that day and laughed that Jeranism was too stupid not to get a sarcasm. And when I said I didn't get that, I was referring to why Kyle was even trying to be sarcastic with him, because we all know Jeranism will pathetically try to be dishonest and use things like this against him, which I even told Kyle he would, and he did exactly what I said he would do with Kyle's comment. When this Skype convo went on with Jeranism and I told Kyle, and his response was he couldn't help someone was too stupid not to understand his sarcasm. And Jaren, you are too stupid to understand basic social norms, like things like sarcasm. You are placating to your audience because you are dishonest and a con artist. Anyone who has ever donated to you a penny should be outraged and ask for their penny back. As you accepting a formal debate to present a flat earth model, knowing full well you don't have one, and then present absolutely nothing. Jaren knows that I was telling him that I know Kyle never said that we didn't go to the moon as his actual belief to anyone. Jaren was told there was emojis, and in fact, we even asked Dave to see if he can see the emojis on the screen, which he affirmed. During the flat earth roast, I, of course, asked Kyle if I can ask him about the moon landing. We communicate all the time during the show about the show and what's going to be going next. We are running a show to entertain. So, of course, during the show, we talk about what's coming up. I think Jaren's video merely demonstrates his willingness to show private conversations to anyone, which deals with the fact that he is dishonest, and you have to be very careful what you say to him. This is how dishonest he is. Jaren has one goal: to fleece money from people. That is what a con man does who doesn't have the decent enough education to do anything else. He will go to great lengths to save face because of his absurdly stupid performance with Reds, and anyone else who has demonstrated he is as clueless as Kent Hovind at a natural history museum. As Godless Engineer said, being insulted or called a liar from a flat earther is a badge of honor, and I wear that badge proud. I'd rather be a somewhat educated, intelligent, and respected by those who are much more educated than I than be a dumb fuck of the year who didn't even know what pi was. But at least Jaren admits he doesn't get many concepts. But if Jaren knows more than PhDs, then why are not these Fortune 500 companies looking to hire him? It is because his entire shtick is catering to stupid people, and he does a good job at that. That is what he gets paid to do. But in the real world, that's not much of a marketable skill. In regards to the video I sent to Holy Kool-Aid, of course I was reading, and as he sent me a script to read. Again, a very simple concept lost upon Jeranism. As most people tell by now, I prefer to do things live off the cuff than reading scripts, but sometimes you have to, like I am now. Jaren, here's my message to you. I am sorry you were stupid. I am sorry you never got a decent education. I am sorry you were literally too dumb to even understand something as basic as pi. I am sorry that you have nothing to offer humanity or to promote math or physics or any type of science. And when I say I'm sorry, I mean sarcastically that I'm sorry, because it's obvious to you by your video, you won't catch that. Jaren, you are the Kent Hovind of flat earth. All bullshit, no substance. And when it comes down to it, the most important thing we have that you don't have is a working model. So in the immortal words of Dell,
you're beyond help, son. You're an incompetent, delusional moron.
fuck off.
Well said, Dell. And finally, before we wrap this up, we will go to Reds and get his summation.
Jeranism asks you to simply question what science says, but does Jeranism ever question his own conspiratard nonsense? Playing intellectually honest on the internet doesn't mean you are intellectually honest, and some people have the capability of seeing the wolf in sheep's clothing. When you sprinkle the word truth over everything you believe, who has the dogmatic mindset? And when you believe things because of a warm and cuddly feeling in your gut, whose position is really the religious one? When these types of people fail to meet their burden of proof, they will of course have a problem with science, because it is with science that we found out that their ideas don't hold up against scrutiny. And if you're a dogmatic believer of the ideas that have failed in the eyes of science, you have no other choice but to shout conspiracy. And everybody who accepts that your idea has failed the test is automatically branded a shill by default, because these people do not want to accept that they were wrong. This is not the definition of intellectual honesty. Sure, you can have a large following, and you can quote from the great minds of our past hoping some of their credibility will rub off on you. But for every intellectually honest individual out there, it's going to take a lot more than a quote mine and an argumentum ad populum fallacy to convince us that you're simply not talking out of your ass. In reality, you need to make a good case for yourself. But when you claim that mathematics should come after physics, when you fucking need mathematics in order to fucking do physics, you don't make a good case for yourself. In fact, what you show is that your way of thinking is self-contradictory and a surefire way to get the incorrect answer. One should not be surprised then if we don't give your unjustified horseshit a second thought. Let's also not forget that science doesn't give a shit about the warm and cuddly feeling you had on whatever matter you're speaking of. What matters is actual evidence. And if you claim to have the evidence, then let's hear it. Now, contrary to the beliefs of some, the scientific community will not shun anybody that goes against the grain. In fact, it's welcomed. Because science is not about protecting old ideas. It's about challenging those old ideas. It's by putting those ideas under the toughest scrutiny from the brightest minds from all over the world that we become confident that those ideas can be accepted when they pass the test. So if you think you have the capability of rewriting the textbooks, then go the fuck ahead. Nobody is stopping you. That's how you fucking do it, bitches. That's how you fucking do it.
Amazing.
That's how you do it, bitches.
In conclusion, before Steve, was there anything you need to read off?
Just 2 super chats if we want to get them out of the way.
Okay, before you do that, before you do that, let me just say in closing, because we'll finish off with the super chats, and then everybody hang around because we'll be back in 20 minutes for the debate between Skylar Fiction and Del Gloria. But I just wanted to say this. If you think, honestly, that I don't believe we went to the moon, great. I'm happy for you. Think I lied? Fantastic. Okay? This we dedicated to address that issue. This is the only time I'm going to address that issue. How you proceed after this, I could give a fuck less. And I have to keep in mind that the people who are calling me liars also believe that the earth is flat. And like Steve said, and like Godless Engineer said, that's a badge of honor. So what you feel after this is completely up to you. I'm going to go about doing this show, and for the people who follow it and enjoy it, making it better. And you can sit on the sidelines and shout liar and whatever else you want to all day long. I eat that shit for breakfast, and it motivates me. So bring it on. Steve?
Yeah, thank you, Lyle. I mean, Kyle.
Lyle?
These 2 super chats that we got, we do appreciate very much. One of them said, "Here's to reality and otter gents." Thank you. We definitely tried to put forth the narrative of awesome science, real information, real things. We do have real models. Red's rhetoric brought that. on his debates. So we do appreciate that. And then the last one was Stephen Kyle, great speeches. We appreciate that. These were very quickly, obviously done because they're in response to a video, but I think they definitely get our point across that Jism basically has no value whatsoever to anyone. He's just a con man. I'm straight up con man, and I have no compunction about saying that.
But thanks to Reds, nobody would take him seriously anymore. I mean, if you still take him seriously after that debate, then you're just doing it to for shits and giggles. I mean, there's no honesty about that left, because
all of you dudes are beyond help after that.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Thanks for Reds for stopping in and being a special guest. Always fun. And
fun,
thanks.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sure. And thanks to you guys for watching. And fuck you, Jeranism. We'll see you back in 20.